Cindy, do you support Measure J, and why or why not?
Sure, I'm supportive of Measure J. I certainly stated that during my previous run in 2008. I had a couple of concerns when I ran before, specifically about some clarifications that I felt were needed to the language, and we're seeing Measure J come back with some minor clarifications being made that I think are appropriate. But overall, I'm supportive of the people's right to weigh in on important development projects. Certainly residential development in Davis is a hot button issue, and I think people deserve the right to weigh in a democratic way. Certainly with regards to land use decisions, any decision that the City Council makes with regards to land use can go to a referendum vote, and this saves us some time with regards to signature gathering. But certainly for anything within the city limits, folks still have the opportunity to weigh in a democratic way. Measure J is interesting because we've seen other cities apply Measure J-like ordinances as well, specifically coastal cities where limited resources include water. So having Measure J here, or Measure R as it's going to be called, with regards to agricultural area protection, I think is really important.
So are you going to vote yes or no on Measure R?
I'm going to support it. It, yeah.
Sydney, how would you address the need for housing that is truly affordable in Davis?
Well, we've seen some city programs try to take a stab at that. DOTSHA is an interesting case example of that, and so I think finding ways for these city-run programs to run more efficiently and more effectively is really important. With regards to DOTSHA, we've seen some interesting issues surface, especially with regards to the legality of how the board has been run. So taking action immediately to address those issues is important. I think in any city and any staff, you're always going to come up against issues, but taking quick action I think is really important. I think these city-run programs are really important with regards to addressing affordable housing problems. Certainly we've seen a mass exodus of young families to places like West Sacramento and Wavis, Woodland. And that makes me really sad. To me, a community is a range of different demographics. It's being able to walk your kid down the street to grandma's house. It's a range of income levels, and I think that's what makes a community really rich.
Many cities in Yolo County are finding that increased development also increases the needs of a community in terms of infrastructure, roads, public safety, fire protection, schools. How would you guarantee that any future development pays for these important needs?
Well, that's an important issue. Certainly when you're doing the environmental documentation, the developer agreement, really taking a look at the details of what the cost is going to be to the city, that's the opportunity to really weigh in and figure out what exactly those costs are. Because certainly if you can find a nexus between costs that will be incurred by the city and having the developer pay those costs, that's more than legal and it's more than appropriate. Residential development in this current economic climate, I don't think we're going to be seeing very much push for that in the next 5 to 10 years. I mean, certainly we've seen an increased foreclosure rate throughout the state and throughout the nation. So really thinking about what we can be doing right now to bolster our economic climate, I think is equally important. In downtown Davis, in the last month, I serve on the Business and Economic Development Commission, and last month we saw 18,000 square feet of empty retail and 22,000 square feet of empty office. So certainly any residential development proposals that come before the city, finding that nexus between costs and actual cost charged to the developer is important. But I think right here and now, thinking about ways to bolster our local jobs and our local businesses is really, really important.